Danish, Paritosh, describe the Orai experience.
Think of Orai like your very own personal speech coach that you have access to anytime, anywhere. And it's very simple. You simply hit record, start speaking, and Orai listens, does some analysis, and provides you instant feedback on your vocal delivery using artificial intelligence. That's it.
We've gotten feedback from hundreds of users on how they practice their speeches, and we've tried really hard to make Orai a seamless experience into how you just practice your speeches and how you can leverage Orai from moving forward to get instant feedback on your speech.
Describe how people are using Orai, either general business professionals, sales professionals.
Let's start off with salespeople. Salespeople are always talking. They're either on their phone, doing conference meetings, and they're always pitching the product. And you gotta practice those before you actually go in and talk to a customer. So using Orai, salespeople are using it to practice their 30-second pitches or their closing statements. What is the action item? That's salespeople. But about non-salespeople, you're always giving PowerPoints. You're always giving presentations in your organization. And you always want to be best prepared for it. You don't want to seem like you're not confident. And that's what Orai does. By practicing on Orai, it gives you the confidence to seem more powerful and more authentic. And outside of that, it's also a very good tool for people who are early in their career. You see, research shows that soft skill, like communication, is one of the top skills needed to really climb that corporate ladder. If you want to be a manager or be in that kind of position, you really need to hone down into your communication skills. And Orai gives you that confidence.
I, as a developer, found that when I was on weekly calls where people were just giving updates on what they were doing, as engineers, we have a big problem of really communicating what we're doing because our minds are always working on technical aspects. And a funny thing I found was that my previous boss now makes everyone practice on Orai 5 minutes before the meeting so that they are delivering the right content. He said that that changed the meeting because everyone now knows what to speak and how to structure calls.
Give me some success stories and talk a little bit about Orai's traction to date.
So we launched the app March of this year, so around 7-8 months, and it got featured in Fast Company, in TechCrunch, in NBC, in Guardian, and we saw downloads rising. So till now we have around 60,000 downloads, and not just from the US, but from globally, from North, like Canada or the UK, or even Southeast Asia, where a lot of people for whom English is a second language are using Orai to gain that confidence and become better at speaking.
How is Orai different from other apps in the marketplace?
You know, at the core of Orai is artificial intelligence. Something that can not just give you instant feedback as soon as you practice, but it becomes better over time. It learns.
And it's not just, we don't want you to reach a golden standard of public speaking. You realize that different people have different styles of public speaking. Some people are slow speakers, like Obama is a very slow speaker. And we want people to really, we want our AI is tuned in such a way that it hones down to how you speak. And as you're practicing different lessons, exercises, or even just your own speeches, your feedback and your entire Orai experience is tailored around who you are as a speaker and how you can improve.
And that's why we say your personal speech coach. It's personalized to your style.
How does the artificial intelligence work?
The artificial intelligence works by analyzing different aspects which are defined in your speech by linguists. For example, there's an aspect called prosody, which is a combination of your pausing, energy, and filler words. What we have done is we have analyzed these aspects across great speakers and across bad speakers. And we've asked good speech coaches to rate that, hey, these are things I liked in a particular speech. This speaker had low confidence when he was speaking. And now we've trained our machine learning algorithm using techniques in deep learning to analyze these patterns across different speeches. And this has really helped us give feedback. Now we know that the speaker was not sounding confident. Now we know that the speaker was speaking too fast at the introduction, but slowed down. So all of these massive pattern analysis on hundreds of thousands of speakers and really like hundreds of hours of data has helped us create an artificial intelligence to give feedback.
How do you know this app is really helping people?
We talk to our users, or our users reached out to us and say, hey Danish, just by using Orai for 20 minutes, I've become more conscious of my speaking habits, not just with my friends and family, but in my professional life as well. So all our users are telling us how they are improving. But outside of just qualitative feedback, we can quantitatively track people's improvement in these areas of feedback that we give. Filler words per minute, how fast or slow they speak, their energy variations, and their clarity scores. And we can see for a particular user, if they do 10 sessions, they might start off with, let's say, 5 filler words per minute, and then after the 10th session, they've really come down to 0 or just 1. And that's what improvement means for us. Having better control of your speaking habits and being more conscious of those.
What's next for Orai moving forward?
Every day, Orai gets multiple hours of data. We're collecting different patterns from speakers across the world, from people in Vietnam, from people in Thailand, from people in the US, Canada. So as we get more speech, the system improves itself. We analyze different nuances in how people are communicating. Maybe you have a Southern accent, or maybe you have a Boston accent, and now the system is getting to understand people speak differently, but I can still give feedback on what good energy is and what bad energy is for a particular speech. And there are a lot of next level features we're looking at. For example, analysis of your content, analysis of your video. Are you smiling when you're presenting? Are you moving your hands too much? Or are you standing in a good posture?
Yeah, think of communication in 3 aspects. The first is your vocal delivery, your filler words, spacing, your energy. Your second is your nonverbals, my hand gestures, my eye contact, my body language. And the third one is your content, your structure. Did you have a powerful beginning? Did you close on a very strong ending? So that's the phase that we see Orai growing to. We have really got nailed down this first aspect, which is your vocal delivery. And as we move forward, we want to add features like facial recognition or tracking your body pose. And then finally getting into really your content and helping people not just improve their delivery, but also refine their structure and their content.
How does Orai help with accents?
In Orai, we have added a clarity score, which tells you how well could we recognize what you were speaking. And any word that we found you pronounced in a different way, we underline it, such in showing that this word could have been pronounced better and improved as you're practicing. So maybe if you add pauses when you're speaking or speak those words that are underlined slowly, it helps you naturally notice places where you had an accent and improve over it.
As someone for whom English was not their first language, the way I personally overcame my Pakistani accent was by talking slow, or by pausing and making sure that my pronunciation is more accurate or more clear, as well as having those vocal animations. So letting the listener know when I'm making a point that is something that they need to focus in on. And those are exactly the metrics that Orai helps with. Orai tells you to punctuate your pauses, to make sure to have longer pauses after your sentences. Orai makes sure that you slow down instead of talking very, very fast. And Orai makes sure that the way you pronounce each word, you get a clarity score that is high enough so that people or your listeners can understand you well. And that's where all these guided lessons come in.